Hey Jude from the Beatles, as it always does, is played on the Tannoy system here before kick-off, and it stokes up a unique atmosphere. Not the loudest, certainly the proudest, I think, in the Premier League this season, because Brentford had to wait for such a long time for a return to top-flight football. They were last in the top flight from 1935 to 1939. They were top for 17 weeks, 37 to 38. Their players like Guy Richards and Bobby Reid and Billy Scott, all famous names in West London football. Then the wilderness years, and they came back and roared into this season with that 2-0 Friday night win against Arsenal here. Karen and myself, we were both here working that night. It was a terrific night. It was party time, really. But Watford have more Premier League experience out there, and will they come here as party poopers? Because Brentford's 2-0 win against the Hornets in this fixture in the Championship last season ended a 13-game winless league run for the Bees against the Hornets, stretching back to 1977. We're seeing close-up pictures of the Brentford coach here, who is a remarkable figure. He is very, very positive in everything he does. He's approachable, very likeable, Thomas Frank, and he's an absolute folk hero here. We're almost ready to kick off, so I'll run down through the teams for you. Brentford with a couple of changes. Ethan Pinnock has COVID and has had to drop out. Sergi Canos is suspended, so they'll have Alvaro Fernandez in goal in the continued absence of David Raya. Charlie Good, Pontus Jansson and Vitaly Janelt dropping back into the defensive three today. Ruslev Rasmussen is the right wing back, Rico Henry is the left, and then you've got Norgard, Baptiste and Matthias Jensen who comes in tonight in the three, and Brian Mbumo and Johan Wissa as the front two for Brentford. And Watford, they make changes as well. Still no Ismail Assar, Rose Lusa and Charles Pedro drop out of the side, and Kutska and Ngakia, who all came on in the defeat against Manchester City, come in. So they'll line up Bachmann in goal in the absence of the normal first choice goalkeeper Ben Foster, is out with a groin strain until the new year. Kiko Femenia, Trostikong, Craig Cathcart and Jeremy Ngakia signed from West Ham in the summer. Right back playing left back, that'll be interesting. Beverly Sissoko and Juraj Kutska, and then up front for them Emmanuel Dennis, Josh King through the middle and Kutsu Hernandez. But King may veer out wide to the left hand side. We'll wait and see whether that materialises. The referee Michael Oliver just checks his two assistants, Stuart Burt, who's down below us. Our commentary position low in the south stand here. We're only about 30 yards from the near touchline, very close to the players. The other assistant on the far side is Simon Bennett. We expect the players to take the knee. Bubbly atmosphere. Watford fans in the far corner of the ground. I'd say a couple of thousand of them have made the short journey down from Hertfordshire, and we're nearly ready to go. The referee just marking his time. A couple of high kicks from one or two of the Watford players as they begin their final warm-up, quick twitch exercises from one or two out there. I can see Mbumo down there for Brentford, and the referee calls for the players to take the knee. And again, as we're hearing so often around the country, applause from the supporters, which is great to hear. So it's Watford who will kick us off. They're kicking from right to left in their yellow kit with the black hoops across the chest and the black shorts, and Brentford in red and white stripes and black shorts and black stockings, as we used to say in radio commentary back in the day. And the ball is lumped up to Mbumo up front, and a first time since kick-off to have the thoughts of Karen Carney, the wonderful England international player who I was fortunate to see in action in World Cups and European Championships. KC, what do you think is going to happen?
Thanks for that. I'll pay you later, JP. Look, I'm really excited about this game. Just looking at Brentford, they are in a back five. I thought they may have chopped and changed it, but they're going to stick with the back five that they're familiar with. And look, Watford in the same formation they're usually in 4-2-3-1. So Cleverley's probably in the 10, and Josh King, I think he's actually playing on his left-hand side actually. Yeah. And up front he's going to be Dennis, so he's going to be the lone player up there today, and they'll try and get support up to him. But look, massive game for two newly promoted teams, both in need of a result. And I'd say performance goes out the window. They need 3 points to both get up the table and get away from that relegation zone.
We're in that marvellous performance against Manchester United at Vicarage Road. It was a strength of Watford with King on that left-hand side. They kicked out to him. It was an out ball, much taller than Wan-Bissaka that day, and he really powered against him in the air and created a lot for Watford from that position, from the out ball position. And he started on the left-hand side, as Karen was saying, with Dennis through the middle, and Brentford play out away to the right-hand side of their defence, and Charlie Good, a remarkable football figure really. He's started the last 3 Premier League games. He came from Northampton for £1 million a couple of summers ago, but he's played in all the divisions now on his way out through and come to Premier League football late in his career. And so, like so many of these Brentford players, really appreciate where they are at the moment. Here's King, good chest trap down below me, wearing sort of lime green boots, played it wide to Ngakia. In it goes then to Hernandez, Cucho Hernandez, back to King, plays it to the right-hand side. Sissoko has been a strength for Watford since joining from Tottenham. 1 or 2 eyebrows raised when he made the move for £3 million at his age. They were buying a player in his 30s, but he's got such a wise head there. He's not perhaps the most cultured of former Tottenham players on the ball, but he gives a strength of purpose and an experience. But it's broken down for Watford, and Brentford pick it up here again, and they're now inside that Watford half and playing wide towards Mats Roslav Rasmussen from Copenhagen, the right wing back, one of the many Danish connections at this football club, including the manager, of course. In comes across from Good, just nicks away off Ngakia, and the first shot of the game is brilliantly turned over. It was a lovely effort as well for Brentford, and it was just turned over. It was Shandon Baptiste who got the shot on goal, and a super save by Daniel Backman.
Well, it's a brilliant save from Backman. It's good build-up playing. Rasmussen is pushing King back. King does not want to be playing as a left-back this whole time, but they work it into the box, and it falls to Baptiste. He chests it down, gets it on the half volley, smashes it, gets a good connection on it, and Backman gets a fingertip save, but a real good start. And I think this is going to be the key, the battle of Rasmussen and King. King will not want to defend, and Rasmussen is going to push him back and force him to be playing as a left-back.
Corner ball then to Brentford on their right-hand side. Matthias Jensen restored to the starting lineup. Will take it. The chestnut-haired Danish international pulls it back up the line. They'll try and get across left-footed into the box from Janot all the way through to the far side. And I think that's another corner kick, It is. It's going to be a corner for Brentford this time on the left.
Well, we know how big Brentford are on their set plays. One of the earlier teams to get a set play specialist in. Short corner, well worked, and they're trying to find them. Berman right round the back post. He ghosted round, no one picked him up. But it was deflected out, and now it's another corner. So can they make this count?
Corner ball for Brentford for the second time in the game on 5 Live from the BBC. Nearly 4 minutes played. Brentford 0, Watford 0. Very important game for both these two sides. In comes a curling corner. It's half headed away to the edge of the penalty area. Nearly a shot on goal there from Rico Henry. But Brentford in the end decides discretion is the best part of valor, and all the way it goes all the way back 50-60 yards to Álvaro Fernandez, the Spanish international goalkeeper, understudy to David Raya, but the one cap came for Spain against Lithuania just before the Euros.
And that's I spoke about it earlier, the massive miss of Raya. Jurgen Klopp even mentioned it. He's such a key player. Look how direct Brentford are, and he's usually the person that starts it, Raya. Like I said, Jurgen Klopp says he's an outfield player. It's so difficult, and I think they miss Raya, but they also miss Tony. I know that's really cliche. When you're so direct, in which Brentford are, Tony and then Burma flicking it on, they cause so many problems against Arsenal and those big clubs, so they just weren't used to it and weren't ready for it.
And the other aspect of Tony's game is that he can hold the ball up very well. When I saw them win at Wolverhampton Wanderers, it was a mature Premier League performance by Brentford that day, and Tony was excellent with his back towards goal that day, so they miss that opportunity as well. Trostikong, the shaven-headed Watford defender, gets it away, a simple pass to Cleverley, and he slips it beyond 2 Brentford players to Sissoko, who looks up front to Dennis, but the ball had too much pace on it and goes through again then to Álvaro Fernandez.
This is what I was saying about the wing-backs of Brentford. They're pushing King back, and so really there's no support then for Dennis when the ball goes up to him, so they're actually like pushing. Again, look at King now, he's playing as a left back, and you see on the other side Hernandez is as a right back. So when they release the ball up to Dennis on there's no one supporting him, so it's quite easy for Brentford to keep retaining possession.
5 minutes gone in the game. Ball is angled forward, right to left by Charlie Good, but intercepted on the far side then for Watford by Cucho Hernandez, the Colombian international, given away sloppily by Watford, and Brentford can burrow forward towards the edge of the penalty area, and from Buma on the edge of the box, and also look up there for Juan Wissu, who made the run, and it's cleared away, but only just cleared away, and Buma is a danger.
He is, but Ranieri's right in front of us, and he's absolutely fuming because it's a sloppy turnover from Watford in their own half, and that's what Brentford do. They just kind of stifle you. They just really make it difficult for you to get out, get into your rhythm, and they've definitely started the brighter of the two sides.
Massive turnover of players again for Watford this year. What was it? 37 in all, 13 in 24 hours, and that's actually less than it has been in recent years. Too many managers as well, but the man they call the Tinker Man, of course, at Chelsea days, and his Chelsea days, they hope that he'll settle things down. And he certainly has the management ability to do that. That's a massive throw in by Gooder. That's a telltale sign of Brentford this season. A long throw in towards the near post, which gently headed away, and it will be a goal kick to Watford away to our right hand side. And don't forget, we'll keep you up to date with that European Champions Cup game, Northampton Saints against the French opposition tonight, and Racing 92, the first game of the competition throughout the evening. That game is on 5 Live Extra, and if you missed it, actually go to BBC Sounds and try and get the first hour of the programme. Very interesting chat with Gary Lewin, former England and Arsenal physio, now the Arsenal women's involved with the Arsenal women's team. As the cross comes in from Watford on the left-hand side, talking about the effects of COVID, talking about the effects of the build-up of games, too many games. Very, very interesting to listen to that again with Glenn Murray as Brentford play out towards this near side. This is what Karen has been talking about, the space that Mats Rasmussen will have as a right wing-back for Brentford. Now, it's interesting that King has gone into a more central position, and they've showed Dennis out wide to the left-hand side. Is he better equipped to do this job then? I
think so. I think they might chop and change, but it isn't. Look, he's completely free, Rasmussen, now on the ball. It is a problem, but Brentford have to capitalise on it. The balls into him are too slow. But you're right, I think Dennis is more probably used to playing in that role, getting back and helping out a little bit more than King, and King actually might be better at back to play, holding and bringing him in to play. But it was an issue, but we'll see if they keep chopping and changing. It might have been just because of the state of the game.
Racing 92 is 6 points to nil up at Northampton Saints. 2 penalties by Mashima in that game. 0-0 here. There's Troost Ekong, the Dutch-born Nigerian international, slips it away wide to the right-hand side, and Kiko Femenia can set sail from out there. The right back, progressive, lovely run through, but he was blocked, tried to perhaps over-carry a little bit, and the Brentford will clear it away. It's given away in the heart of their midfield, though, and play forward for Watford, where cleverly goes down a little bit too easily. No free kick given, and Brentford look to swing it away to the left-hand side, and look then out there for Johan Wisso, who's played 9 times for the club, scored 5 goals since the move from Lorient, but this is his first league start with the Congo International.
Well, look, they're trying to hit him as quick as possible. As soon as that's what I like about Brentford. If they see the space, they exploit it. It's a direct ball. It's not like a hopeful ball. That's where we're going to exploit. They pulled him out, Watford, and they just hit a high point as quick as possible. So he'll be key tonight, and I'm excited to see him, and I'm sure the home fans are as well.
It's a front two for Brentford, but Whistler really likes to play on the left-hand side, and Burma really likes to play on the right-hand side. If they split, then who will come through? Baptiste, as we've seen, perhaps?
I think it'll be, doesn't matter whoever's the highest player point. I think football's so fluid now. If you're the closest one, I listen to Roy Keane quite a lot, and he's like, these holding midfielders, just be a midfielder. So there's a space, you're the highest player, just run into it and exploit it and cause the opposition a problem.
I think the Pep Guardiola revolution at Manchester City has encouraged that, because you look at his fullbacks and suddenly they're playing in central midfield roles or making runs beyond the strikers. So fluid, so varied, and so many managers are taking note of that. 0-0 on 5 Live. Our seats here, I've never come across it in a commentary position. They're like, the waltzers in the fairground. They're like waltzer seats. They spin around all over the place. I'm feeling quite sick, so unless someone gives me a bucket, watch out for that lovely coat of yours. Anyway, Brentford will clear it away. Should clear it away anyway in the defence with Janelt. He has, as I said, played a fair few times at centre-back, so should be used to the position, and is pushed forward very neatly by the left full-back Rico Henry, and Brentford now scuttling forward at pace on the transition. Rislav Rasmussen on the counter-attack, then to use the old phrase for it, plays it back into the middle. Football, they change managers and players and terminology, still the same old game really, and the ball is whipped away towards that left-hand side. Good ball by Jensen for Brentford. In comes a low dangerous cross, and Sprawling to make the save is Batman.
This shape is causing Watford a problem, because that whole build-up came out with them pressing completely wrong. Start with Batman, they played it out. So it started out from Fernandez, the goalkeeper of Brentford, had played it out, and they just can't deal with the press. Watford, they don't know who and when to go, and the fullbacks are completely out. And look, they've had a cross then in their final third, and now Backman's in control of it. So the press from Watford is completely wrong, and the shape of Brentford is really causing them problems in the build-up.
Batman made the comfortable save, and Watford now find it at the heart of the midfield with Kutska to Sissoko, who didn't control it. It's lumped forward again by Charlie Good, up towards the lone front runner as it was at that time, Burma. had such a good season last season, and all the way through it goes then to the Brentford goalkeeper Alvaro Fernandez, signed from Huesca. He'd been at Monaco for a couple of years but didn't play there, former Osasuna goalkeeper. Both clubs have fickle form. It is strange, it's the first ever top flight meeting between these two sides. And when you think that Brentford haven't been up there for over half a century, that shouldn't be a strange thought. Cleared away then by Bachmann. Long ball, really rather aimless, up towards Brentford's commanding centre-backs, and I don't think it's Emmanuel Dennis's strength to win the ball in the air. He's gone back central, King's gone to the left-hand side again. All the while we've got Cucho Hernandez on the right-hand side with his bleach blonde hair, and it's going to be a throw to Brentford, and it'll be taken by their left-hand side centre-back, as it is at the moment. The ball forward by Janelt, and they'll settle for a throw in further down the line. They've gained around about 3 or 4 yards with that. It's a clear night. Temperature around about 3 degrees before kick-off. It does. There's a wind, isn't there?
It's freezing.
Yeah, a bit of a bite on the wind. Claudio Ranieri in a black puffer jacket down below us, and the slate grey slacks, as my grandma would have called them, trousers in this day and age, and the smart shiny shoes. And it's going to be a free kick to Brentford on the far side. Softly spoken but gregarious and lovely man is Claudio Ranieri. You speak to him, there's a sparkle in his eyes always, and a joy to talk to actually. Both managers are here today. As Brentford look again to get Roerslev Rasmussen away down the right hand side. He's halfway inside the Watford half, pulls it back then, and then a little sprightly run by Shannon Baptiste, who was out for such a long time last year with a metatarsal injury, and a meniscus injury I should say. Came back this season and was sent off immediately at Wolverhampton Wanderers, but he's got a good position again. He's virtually playing in the 10 role, just behind the front man, out wide towards the left hand side. Can they get the crossing from over there with Rico Henry? Back again then to Baptiste. It's for Henry once again on that left hand side, rolling in towards the edge of the penalty area. We'll have a shot at goal. It's blocked by Troostekong, comes back to Henry, and left footed he prods it into the feet of a cultured player in Christian Norgard. Brentford still on the attack. Janelt plays to the left hand side. Henry, with cleverly snapping at his heels, reacted too late to the challenge of the Watford man, and under pressure poked it out for a throw into the Hornets on the far side in front of their supporters.
It was really good play from Brentford, and you see Janelt, who's playing left side of centre back, getting forward and really getting into the 18-yard box. They're doing that, but what I want from Brentford is if they're going to get up there, commit, believe in the final third, believe in the final pass, believe in the execution of it. I don't really see a bit hesitant when they're in the penalty area and around it.
Watford look for a ball over the top for Dennis, and he's seen off. Good defending again at the back for Brentford. Janssen strong and powerful, and a folk hero here, and Brentford cleared away towards the far side. Watford in and out in recent weeks. Brilliant against Manchester United, absolutely atrocious against Liverpool, who were sublime that day in the 5-0 win. The following week Watford got 5 themselves at Everton, and deserves something perhaps at Arsenal in the 1-0 defeat. Certainly I thought they deserved something against Chelsea in the 2-1 defeat. Manchester City were too good for them. It's 6 defeats in 8, but I think they're about 4 or 5 points above where they might have been projected to be at this stage in the season. That turnover of players, Karen, 178 have come and gone in 6 seasons.
And the managers as well. Add that to the mix, and maybe that's why the player turnover's so high. Managers come with different styles, different ideas, and just then players, the turnaround is just phenomenal. But look, massive week for them here today, and then Burnley and Crystal Palace coming up as well, so big period for Watford.
Roerslev Rasmussen slips it forward to Baptiste, who's finding the space and burrows into that penalty area again, away to our right hand side. It's gone away, slipped away for a corner. It was a physical battle with him as he tried to run against the experienced Craig Cathcart, who stood his ground, was very strong in there, the Belfast boy, and it's going to be a goal kick to Watford away to our right hand side.
Yeah, it's good defending from Cathcart. He's just using his body well. I think they're not trying to play up against him, Visa and Burma. They're just trying to stay away from him and actually play on the other kind of outside of him, instead of running the channels and causing him a problem. That's why if he go up tight to him, he likes that Cathcart, so they're trying to avoid that little battle.
Troostekong, ball played over his shoulder, had a look, had a little heap to see where Bachmann was, played it back to the goalkeeper, and the Austrian international balloons it away downfield, which scrappy in the centre circle. At times it has the physicality and the intensity in that middle third of a championship game, but there is quality out there on the football field as well, and we've seen it from both these sides at times this season. Brentford good enough to beat Arsenal, of course, here on that opening Friday, good enough to go to West Ham United and win, good enough to frighten the pants out of Liverpool in a 3-3. As Watford looked to play the ball from the halfway line deep into the Brentford box. They looked for Dennis. He's blaming something in there, just a corner kick. I think he went off good, Karen, but it's a goal kick.
Yeah, I thought it was a corner actually, and Tom Cleverley's feeling exactly the same, but look, it's a goal kick, and Brentford now playing out. Let's see if they get the press right, Watford.
Well, they're pressing Brentford right back towards the dead ball line. It's ballooned away by Janssen down the right-hand touchline. Ruslav Rasmussen battling there with Ngakia, and Brentford do clear their lines, and Cathcart was under pressure from the busy Mbumo, and following up to win it again is the impressive Baptiste. Ruslav Rasmussen switches it to the left-hand side. Is Matthias Jensen, into the box it goes, and looking for Johan Wissa. Might have been slightly off the pace there, or unaware the ball was going to come up to him, and it slipped beyond him for a goal kick. 0-0.
That's that final third, that execution, that way to pass. You know, Rasmussen passes it out, and then he's got to make a good decision. He tries to play it through to Visa, and he could have maybe gone one more to Henry, but it's just a way to pass, and that's what I'm talking about. Relax. You have to be ice cool in that final third. Everything else, the midfield third, where you're trying to win first balls, second balls, when you get in that latter part, you have to calm yourself down. Even though the play is fast, you have to compose yourself, and just need that a little bit more from Brentford.
Atmosphere just a little bit more subdued than it was at the kick-off in this 17,250 capacity brand new stadium. It's a free kick to Brentford, who did such good business to get this stadium built. It cost £71 million, but all funded for them. They've been at their home at Griffin Park, which was formerly the Fuller's Brewery Orchard, very close to the banks of the Thames, since 1904, and had some great times in the press box there over the years, working for radio in London. It's such a welcoming club, such a very, very well run club, terrific business model. And it's going to be a throw to Watford, 0-0, 5 live from the BBC. Massive weekend of football for you, with the Premier League, of course, tomorrow and Sunday. And it's still 6-0, I think, in that rugby match. I'll update you in a couple of moments. And producer George is just scuttling around to try and find me the score there. And he's not watching the soap on television. It's 13-0 now to Racing, and this is a good attack for Brentford down the left-hand side, and he's in the penalty area now. Is Wissa? That's a ball that lacked confidence. He could have, as he rolled in onto his right foot, could have a shot on goal, but he tried to find Baptiste, intercepted. Chance is gone. Brought out now then by Kutska for Watford, and he finds Cucho Hernandez on the right-hand side. Big deep cross to Emmanuel Dennis. Oh, that's a lovely touch to bring it down. Left side of the penalty area. He'll turn. He'll run it good, perhaps. He'll go inside. Will he check out again? Waiting for support to arrive on the edge of the penalty. Kutska sets it up. Sissoko switches to the right-hand side, the left-hand side again, and Ngakia very right-footed, changes back to that right foot. In comes across and is headed up and over his own bar by the experienced Swedish international Pontus Jansson, and Watford have their first corner of the game. Yeah, it was really good play, counter-attacking football. Hernandez on the right, and actually Dennis, where I think he's better, and Dennis on the left, King up top, and that's how it materialised in a switch from right to left, and then they build up really good ball into the box and cleared away in the end from Janssen, but much better from Watford, keeping the ball and moving it a lot quicker in the final third, and now have a corner. Corner kick for Watford on the right hand side. They'll swing it away from goal. Goalkeeper stayed on his line, and the header from the Brentford defender has gone away for just a throw. I thought for a minute it had gone out for a corner ball, but it was lumped clear, and Watford will have to settle for a throw on their left-hand side. You're talking about Ruslav Rasmussen as well. If he does get time and space, he's running up against the right-footed left-back in Ngakia, because they do have problems. Rose went off against Manchester City. He's trying, of course, to gain full fitness. He was out of the first team picture for so long against Tottenham Hotspur. Brentford are profiting down their right all night long. It's a lovely ball away, and Burmo isolated with Troost-Ekong. He's already to the edge of the penalty area. Shake to bend the shot. Bent a lovely shot, and it's a spring of a save by Daniel Bachmann, leaping to his right-hand side. Swallowed eye to push it around for a corner.
Tell you what, that's an unbelievable save. Unbelievable again. Brilliant ball from Baptiste in the build-up. Just turn and just put it into an area, and Burmo's in on his right-hand side. He's ghosting in. He's got 1v1 against Troost-Ekong, and he comes in onto his left foot, which might give Bachmann the idea that he's trying to bend it because of the angle, and Bachmann pulls out a worldie of a save as he tries to bend it in the top corner and palms it out for a corner. But brilliant counter-attack from Brentford, but an outstanding save.
Corner kick. Janssen will be a danger here. Troost-Ekong is on him. Good will be a danger here. Cathcart has picked him up, and Christian Norgard being watched by Sissoko. Rises at the far post, but Sissoko is the taller man, and not surprisingly gets his head on it and clears it away for Watford out towards their left-hand side. The clearance is down the line by Kiko Femeni, who's come towards this side, and it's going to be a throw-in to Brentford. 0-0, 22 minutes gone, almost midway through the first half then on 5 Live. Dry night and a lovely pitch, and it's going to be a throw to Brentford on this right, to be taken by Charlie Good. 4 league starts last season, already started for this season. Ngakia, Watford's left back, pushes inside to Cathcart, away to Josh King. Nice touch in field to Sissoko, gets it played wide to him on the left hand side again. Wearing a knee brace, a black elasticated knee brace on his left knee, King. There's a protection, a strengthener, and Watford have it inside their own box to clear it away. Karen.
You make a good point with Rasmussen, and he's the spare player for Brentford. There's always one spare player in any formation. At the moment it is him, and you're right, when he's against Ngakia, he keeps going inside. Ngakia is right-footed, so take him on the outside, take him on his weaker left foot, and you'll really exploit this Watford side.
Watford's strength will be on the counter. Cucho Hernandez burrows through the middle, plays left-hand side. King on his right foot, bends a shot in, it struck the outside of the post. Alvaro Fernandez was beaten, and it's whacked away by Janssen to the far side. That's a lovely piece of football by Josh King.
Oh, it's brilliant. He actually didn't track back, so when Watford were ready on the counter-attack, King then he's in a 1v1, he cuts in on his right foot. It's a brilliant piece. It's such a difficult angle, and he's gone in on his right foot. He's just tried to bend it with the inside of his foot right round the far corner. It's just clipped off the post, but it's a brilliant effort from King.
Corner kick, Watford will take it cleverly into the mix. 3-header goal, Watford lead. Brentford 0, Watford 1, and Emmanuel Dennis continues his fine scoring run, his 7th goal of the season and his 5th in his last 7 games.
Wow, shocking defending from Brentford is my initial thought. Still out swinging, corner, looked like no one picked Dennis up. The ball's got enough whip and pace on it, he just heads it down. Look, it's brilliant. Just seeing the replays now, he's actually unmarked straight away, so he doesn't even have to move, he just jumps up. Brentford are zonal marking, they don't pick it up, he's completely unopposed, gets a free head. Like I said, the pace is all on the ball, all he's got to do is get the contact, everything comes off his shoulder, and the goalkeeper Fernandez got no chance. Brilliant. And look, they don't deserve it, Watford, if I must say, but they're clinical in that moment, and set plays are absolutely huge, and they've really made it count.
How many teams this season we've seen who are dangerous with their own set pieces, can't defend set pieces to other end?
Yeah, exactly, and it's just a zonal mark in there that Brentford, that you just leave someone really, in the 8 yards out unopposed, who's very good aerially, good delivery, and they're suffering for it now because Brentford have been really good, but you have to defend your set plays well.
Ngakia holds the ball in the corner quadrant, left-hand side for Watford, but doesn't get away with it. It's going to be a Brentford throw because it came off the boot of the young former West Ham United defender in the end. He's come off the bench in the last couple of games, which means it's going to be a long throw for the home side, and Charlie Good will take it. He'll hurl it into the box. Boomers at the far side. Watford fans are bouncing up and down in that far corner of the ground. They're loving every moment of this. In comes the throw towards the near post, and Norgard was in there and got his knee on it and kneed it up and away for a goal kick. Tomorrow, don't forget, Stevie G's return to Liverpool as Villa manager. Ian Dennis is there, and Pat Niven, that's at 3. Sunday, the decisive Formula 1 Grand Prix at 1. Can Hamilton win it? Leicester against Newcastle is on Sports Extra at 4:30. Don't forget, we have Palace against Everton. We'll see in the replay of the goal, got in front of his marker. This is really shocking defending by Brentford. And King will try and keep it in for Watford down their left-hand side.
I think just looking at that replay, as you said, they're doing zonal. Janssen's the middle zone, and if you're that middle zone and you're not marking anyone, you have to go and attack that. You can't just defend space. You have to. Your job is to go and attack the ball, and he doesn't. And if you're not marking the play, you have to win it. Doesn't win it, doesn't mark his player, and it's an easy header for Dennis with a brilliant outswinging delivery from Tom Cleverley, and all the pace, all the whips on it. He's just got to get connection, and that's exactly what he did.
Well done, producer.
George, well done.
George, he's gone and retrieved some notes of mine that blew away on the wind. I'll tell you a story about that in a moment. About a quiet moment in the game.
I filled in for you there, JP.
Yeah, you did, brilliant. Yeah. I was lost. And where are we? Oh yes, Brentford. And it's 1-0 to Watford. Yeah, a few years ago I was doing a game at Leicester for 5 Live, and it wasn't going to be a commentary match. We didn't find out until later. I was there with Chris Waddle. They were going to whip around the grounds. I think, I can't remember who the presenter was, but it might have been a young Mark Chapman actually. Anyway, so Chris Waddle and I got more and more relaxed and didn't really concentrate, and we weren't being called upon it. And my notes blew away and spiralled and spiralled and spiralled and spiralled. And just as Matt Elliott, the Leicester defender, was going up to win the ball in the air, the notes wrapped themselves around his head.
No way.
Yeah, and they looked up at the commentary position because they could only come from one position, and Chris Waddle and I ducked so low down you couldn't see us. We were scared. In comes the free kick for Brentford into the penalty area. No one's scared there. Trostekong got it away, and it's half volleyed over by Brian and Boomer.
I want to know, was there any notes on the player?
Yeah, no, it's my poor commentary part. So
he could have read, and you could have hammered him, said good things. He could have read it.
I'd never hammer him. I always thought he was a wonderful centre back. He's listening now. I'm pretty sure it was him. But not one you'd argue with, not one you want to upset back in the day. Let's go to the rugby. Chris Jones.
It's Northampton 0, Racing 23 on the opening night of the Heineken Champions Cup. It's a devastating start for Northampton, but this is an exhibition from the European and French royalty. Racing, Finn Russell, the Scot, is sublime at 10. He's putting the strings. Laurie and Imhoff with the tries. Long way back for the Saints. They trail 23-0. We go 12 minutes to half-time.
Commentary on Sports Extra. Commentary on 5 Live here. Brentford 0, Watford 1. And Brentford's fluctuating fortunes here really this season. They won that big opener against Arsenal, and they had to go until the end against Everton, their last home game, for another win. But they have now defending to do as Dennis for Watford breaks to the edge of their Brentford penalty, left hand side, chops it to his left, but crossover cooked, goes all the way through the penalty area. Kiko Fernando with his orange boots on the far side, Kiko Fernando I should say, and the cross is too deep from him and away for a goal kick. Karen scaring pace, Karen, 1-0.
Yeah, no, I think Watford now have got used to it, dealing with the shape and actually exploiting Brentford's. Like I said, when the wing backs are out in that situation now, Dennis is actually peeling more onto the sides when the wing backs are going out, so they're just hitting it in those channels, and he's winning individual battles, and then he's getting his joy. So they're starting to kind of find their feet a little bit now, Watford, in the shape.
I'm glad George found those notes though, because I can impart on you life-changing information. Brentford are unbeaten in their last 8 league games played on a Friday. It's Watford's 5th Premier League game ever played on a Friday. Those stats have probably changed your lives. I've more than that, Karen, if you would like to hear them as the game goes on. Change your life. Change your life information like this. Stick with me. Oh, she's leaving. It's now going to be Brentford in possession with Janssen all the way back in his half. And he's slipped the ball back to his goalkeeper, who seemed not to know it was coming, got there easily in the end. But did you hear the groans from the Brentford supporters? Few groans. And you haven't heard too many of those this season. They've been brilliantly behind their side. Now they find their cheers again as Janelt twisted forward like inside Cucho Hernandez, but they've overplayed at the back. Now is that a penalty? Because as they overplayed at the back under the Watford pressure, Dennis went down under Good, and the referee in the end, as he's allowed it to go on, I think then Dennis has fouled Good, he has, and it's going to be a free kick to Watford, but for Brentford between the penalty and the 6-yard box. But the first challenge, have a look at it here, Karen.
He's got Tom Cleverley's asking him to have a look at it. Don't think it is going to be a penalty. I don't think there's anything in it. There's a coming together between Dennis and Good. I think it's just literally a coming together. I don't think there's anything more than it. It looks like the referee's just waved it on as well. But again, it's Fernandes. That's the difference between Fernandes in goal and Raya. Raya would have skipped that link, and Rasmussen was completely free. Instead, he put his defender under pressure. Now you're going to me, he's at penalty carrying. Whereas just skip the link and go to your spare player, and that's how good Raya is in goal, and that's how much they miss him, this Brentford side.
Don't have a feed of the VAR. Michael Gillett is the VAR today, so I know it would have been checked, or potential game-changing incidents in the penalty area are. The referee today is very accomplished in Michael Oliver. You will all have your opinions on referees, everyone always does, but for me he's one of the best, not just in our country but in Europe, potentially the world. At the moment, Brentford 1-0 down and hard pressed, and Thomas Frank down there, arms across his chest with his black padded anorak on, talking to his assistant who's been with him in Danish football as well. And it's going to be a free kick that Watford will swing in through cleverly towards the centre of the penalty area, easily away though by Norgard, and there was a foul in there. It's going to be a free kick to Brentford. 1-0 Watford lead on 5 live. Free kick. He tried to take the free kick there, Christian Norgard. A foot further down the pitch, 2 foot, no, about 30 yards. And where they eventually, they then moved it back 1.5 yards and groaned when the referee says, you've got to go back to where the offence was, 10 yards away. Played out. Janot, left-hand side. Here's Rico Henry. He's having a good season in the Premier League. Put the ball in. Didn't have work to do, didn't get there, and it comes through to Johan Wissa, who's fouled unnecessarily, I think, really by Ngakia, showing his inexperience there. And Brentford have a free kick halfway inside the Watford half. 32 minutes gone, plumb dead centre, and an opportunity here for a clever set-piece expert, Matthias Jensen, to do something with the ball. He stands over it, brushes his brown hair back. He's wearing turquoise boots, his hands are on his hips. He has 4 Brentford players to the left, 3 to the right-hand side. So Watford are obviously thinking he's not going to go for goal. He chips it into the box, looks for the run of Wissa in there. The ball breaks away to Pontus Jansson and is cleared by Kiko Femenia for Watford. Brentford have it. Back to the halfway line already, and there's nothing on up front, so Janot gets it back to his goalkeeper, and down below us Claudio Ranieri calls his Watford players out. Studious manager down there, and unruffled, although just before they scored he was going off alarming at his players because they were giving the ball away too cheaply in midfield with misplaced passes. Bang, they score, mood change, game change. Lovely game, bewitching game, bewildering game. Good with the throw down the line. Oh, the ball never came in play, so we'll have another throw in. The ball never came in, so we get another chance. I know a lot of you over the years have said to me that when this happens, that should be deemed a foul throw. It didn't come into the field of play. Good now takes it. Risky throw that really into the heart of midfield. It's picked up by Janot, who's immediately under pressure. Dennis has fouled him. And he said it was shoulder to shoulder. The referee says it was shoulder into the back, so Brentford have a free kick.
No, it's a foul. He's got the upper run on him, Janot. He's just been barged completely off the ball from Dennis. He might say it's shoulder to shoulder, but it's really not. He's absolutely barged him nowhere near the ball. It's a clever throw-in though from Brentford. Suck you in, exploit it, switch it to the other side, and then try and work it and pull you apart. But now they've got an opportunity. They've got to make these set pieces count. They haven't really so far, and every time a foul's given away, Claudio Ranieri's fuming with his Watford side because he knows you can't keep accumulating these fouls in these areas.
And they split 3 to the left, 3 to the right, 1 through the middle. They cut it to the right-hand side of the penalty area, and it's cleared away. Brentford's right-hand side of the penalty, as they will see it. They were looking for Good. Watford cleared away. Cucho Hernandez brought it out, placed to the left-hand side. King crosses the halfway line, right arm crooked to balance himself as he rolls it away then towards Sissoko. Tall, upright, looks to the far post, crosses in, looking for Dennis. He rose above his man, but planted the header wide. Rose above, and Bumo, who trapped back with him all that way to defend the dangerous counter-attack by Watford, who lead 1-0.
Well, it's brilliant from Sissoko because he's the one that really busted himself to get forward and create the opportunity. He cuts in his right foot in the final third, and he puts in a real dangerous ball because every Brentford player is facing their own goal. It's just horrible. You don't know how you defend that. You don't want an own goal. Just unfortunate Dennis couldn't get underneath it. Going
to be a free kick here. High boot by King on Good. couple of yards in from the touchline. Brentford right hand side, halfway inside their own half, and it's going to be a throw right by one of the blue rugby pitch markings down there. And meanwhile Dennis is down, rolling over onto his back and holding his head, and the referee has called for the Watford physiotherapist to run onto the field of play. It has been such a curious period for Watford under Claudio Ranieri. His 9th game in charge, looking for his 3rd win in charge. He's a man who has taken 1,333 games in his managerial career, 21 jobs in 25 years, the league with Leicester of course, League 2 with Monaco, Serie B with Fiorentina, the Coppa Italia and the Cup with Valencia, but he had his long lean years as well. And at the moment his win percentage is very low compared to the rest of his career. That spell at Fulham was lower and he couldn't turn things around there. But he's one of football's great characters, one of football's most lovable characters. And he's talking to his Watford players down there now, Karen, a huddle of them. What is he saying to them, do you think?
Well, he's talking to the 2 wide players in King and Hernandez, and he needs more from them, because when you're playing up against a formation that Brentford are playing against back 5, it's the wide players, King and Hernandez's job to really pin them back and to really exploit him. That's where the spaces are. If the wing-backs are out, they're in. But equally, they've got a really hard defensive job. So he's just talking to them, communicating to them. And I actually think they should play a bit more risky. Actually, don't track Rasmussen back as much, or go half and half. Play a bit of kidology with him, see what he does. Don't be just as honest. I think, remember me and Retro Yankee used to say, will they track us if we stay a little bit higher? And if they don't, you've got the upper hand. And I think that's what he might be saying to him. These 2 are really key for us in this Watford side to get support up to Dennis.
Some player, Rachel Yankee, and if you can get a video of her in her pomp, if you like. I think Rachel's won 11 FA Cups, something like that.
I know, wow,
and
incredible.
Wonderful player. For England in her various clubs, the Arsenal and Fulham. And it's well worth it. One of the pioneers of the women's game, which has come on in leaps and bounds. Since Canada, really, hasn't it? So 2015, it changed your lives, I think, didn't it? That World Cup, would you say?
The Olympics as well, though, to be fair, JP.
Oh, 2012?
A lot of it, but it's just good to see where it's at now.
Yeah. Now, here's Watford on the counter. They look to slip it forward to Dennis. It really is now beginning to justify the 4 million. But 4 million, what a snip for Bruges in the summer of 2021. This summer he had a decent scoring record at Bruges, 29 and 116, Nigerian international. He hasn't played for them for a while, but 7 now for Watford in his 17 games. It's a good return. Good throw, picks out Baptiste, but he couldn't control the ball halfway inside the Watford half, and as Cucho Hernandez tries to get away, he's bowled to the ground. Had to wait a long time since joining the club in 2017 for his opportunity. Hernandez went out on loan several times before making his first team breakthrough this season. But one looks at him and thinks he's a gifted player, but he needs to impact more in games more often. 5 to go in the first half. Watford won't mind if he doesn't impact in this game. If they stay like this, 1-0 up. The goal by this man who is pressurising good Dennis, and he forces Charlie Good to head the ball out of play for a Watford throw. 5 live from the BBC. Don't forget, Northampton Saints against Racing is over on Sports Extra, with a dominant early display by the French side every night of the Champions Cup. And it's going to be a throw to Watford down below us to the left-hand side. They do have this extraordinary record against Brentford over the years, going back to 1977. But they're the only team in the Premier League this season yet to keep a clean sheet. No optimism for Brentford. Looped forward by Kiko Femeni, out towards the left-hand side. Brentford looked for a flag that didn't come, but it was the centre-backs in the middle. I think they were playing Dennis on it. It was the centre-backs who were appealing. Throw to Watford on their left, chopped in field by Ngakia, and cleared away for Brentford quite easily, and then pinged up to Mbeumo. He's got a straight foot race here then with Trostikong, slips it into the penalty, looking for Johan Wissa, and across came Femenia too, cleared away. And I wonder then whether Brian Mbeumo could have taken on another stride. Karen had a shot on goal.
I think he just wanted it on his favoured left foot, but when you're coming back in on your left foot, you allow the defenders to come in and help you. But I'm not being funny, it's an absolute worldie of a ball from Norgard. He's down on his volley, he's half volleyed it and kind of zinged it into the path of Mbeumo, but like I said, he cuts in on his left foot, and that just gives the defender's chance to get back because it slowed his rhythm. He continues with his right foot into the penalty area. He's just in on goals. He's got that confidence. You haven't got the time in the Premier League to get it on your favoured foot.
Italy Janelt will take the corner kick, swung into the box and easily cleared away. European under-21 champion with Germany is Janelt, and plays it to Jensen, and the deflection of Cucho Hernandez takes it away for another corner kick to Brentford. What is that, 5 now I think they've had on their right hand side. We've been playing 41 minutes. Watford are 1-0 up on 5 Live with a great weekend of sport up and coming. Don't forget Steven Gerrard's return to Anfield as a manager for the first time is tomorrow right here, and it's going to be a corner kick then to Brentford that will be swung in by Janelt, left footed, beyond the near post it goes. Goalkeeper was blocked off and the header is just over. Goalkeeper got nowhere near it. He's appealing for a free kick. Has he got the free kick?
No, it's a goal kick. I think they
Charlie Good wasn't the header over.
Yeah, look, it's a great ball. Whipped in swinging, and Good gets up above everybody. And I think he comes off his shoulder again, gets above Josh King. No one can get near him. Actually, yeah, it does come off his shoulder. He just rises up above everyone, just can't get the contact. There was appeal for a corner, but it did come off Good last.
But there was no foul on the goalkeeper. If anything, then Backman came out and banged into the Brentford player who was simply holding his ground. Baptiste, I think it was. Opportunity there though for Brentford with the free header. They created 1 or 2 good moments in the first half, but Watford have something of a grip on the game.
I just think it's like I said earlier on, like the belief and just that execution in the final third. They cause a threat. I'd call them heavy metal football. They make it difficult for opposition and making it hard for Watford at times, but just in that final third, just again the composure and just making good decisions. Like Mbeumo, you can go on your right foot unless you're Mo Salah and you're absolutely going to be a computer game with your left foot. It's hard at times, so you've got to take the chance when you can.
Opportunity to lose 6 points clear of the bottom 3. Watford with a win. Got a Burnley next, and it's Crystal Palace at home, Wolves away, West Ham home, and Tottenham at home. It's a foul surely on Ruslev Rasmussen. The referee says yes, it is in the end. Sissoko, as he checked back inside, just took his feet away from him, and is now bundled into an ex-Brentford player in Baptiste. He's pleading his innocence there, Sissoko, and then Josh King kicked the ball away to delay the free kick being taken, to the ire of the Brentford supporters. What I like about this ground, you can see the faces of the supporters. You're so close to them, even the ones on the far side. You can see the expressions of joy and despair, and let's be honest, as football supporters, it's more despair than joy. The ball is cleared away at the left full-back position by Ngakia. Let's go to Northampton Saints against Racing and Chris Jones.
Oh, well, it's half-time here, Jonathan. Northampton 7, Racing 28. Racing are playing rugby from the gods, orchestrated by the Scottish maestro Finn Russell. He's been responsible for all 3 tries with brilliant balls. Lorre, Imhoff twice, and they're putting Northampton to the sword. They've got 1 try through Skosen. Can they turn around in the second half? Northampton 7, Racing 28.
Charlie Good for Brentford, the heart of his defence. Thomas Janssen has it now to bring it out. I used to do rugby commentary, I worked in the West Country.
Really?
Came down in there, Bristol and Bath and Gloucester and Gloucestershire and Somerset and the South West Division as it was back in the day. That was very bad. In now towards Baptiste away wide on the right hand side as Ruslev Rasmussen arriving to the dead ball line, chops across into the middle and easily gathered by the goalkeeper as he advances and just flops on it. Backman taking his chance with Ben Foster out until the new year. Hasn't kept a clean sheet for Watford this season, neither is Foster in the league. Austrian international, recently played for them in the playoffs for the World Cup. Long clearance from the goalkeeper is met in the air by Janelt. His header drops to Femenia, strokes it down the right hand side to the gloved Cucho Hernandez. Back again to Janelt with the orange boots. The fourth official has signalled 1 minute of stoppage time at the Brentford Community Stadium. The home fans are a little bit subdued by this first half. They started the brighter side. They had more possession and 1 or 2 chances, but Watford have taken the lead, and they fairly mature in holding on to that lead at the moment. Watford. King into Sissoko, tight on this left-hand touchline, spins the ball forward towards Josh King, has a look over his shoulder as he brings it down now looks up and crosses into the penalty. Hernandez was coming in, and Dennis to put pressure on the defender Janolt and fouls him. It's a free kick for Brentford. But they've got a fair few crosses in from either side, Watford.
Yeah, they have. Look, they're not slow at getting it in, and appreciate that. If they take their time, then it's easier for the back three, Good, Jensen and Janout, to get into good positions. So they're just getting deliveries in really, really early, and then it's hard for them because they're not set, their feet are not right, they're sometimes facing their own goal. So I think it's been really good from Dennis and King at times, and just whipped it in, because sometimes you don't look for players, you just want to put the defenders under pressure.
There's the whistle, Karen. 1-0 Watford's lead, and have we seen enough from Brentford to suggest they can come back into this? He's a good manager, man manager, and he will have them going in the second half, Thomas Frank. What do you think?
He is. They started really, really well. The better side. I thought the shape was causing problems, but it's just a lack of clinical edge, a lack of cutting edge actually in the final third, and really Backman's had probably one fantastic save to make, and it was a good opportunity, but I don't really believe that they're ever going to score, and that's just a gut feeling, whereas Watford really slow to grow into the game but just clinical in that moment and haven't played particularly well, but they're getting it done. But it'd be interesting to see what changes are made excuse me, especially from Brentford in the second half. Who can they bring on just to bring that little bit of magic in the final third?
Thanks, Darren. The Brentford players are out for the second half. No sign of Watford. There'll be no changes for Brentford, so they will kick off as they kicked off the first half with Alvaro Fernandez in goal, and then you've got a back three of Good, Jensen and Janout, Miroslav Rasmussen the right fullback, Henry the left fullback, Norgard, Baptiste and Jensen in midfield, and Johan Wissa and Brian Mbumo the front two. Out come Watford in their yellow with the black hoop shirts on the chest, the black hoops, the black socks and the yellow black shorts and the yellow socks. And I'm just looking to see if there's any changes for them, and I can't see any, so it'll be Backman in goal. For many of the right wing backs, Zakia on the left, Trostikong and Cathcart are the hearts of the defence, and then you've got Cleverley, Sissoko and Kutska in midfield, and a front three of Dennis, King and Hernandez. Down there, Peter Gillen, the pitch announcer. He's been here forever and a day. Great Brentford servant. Come on, Brentford, he cries. And we're almost ready to get off and underway in this second half once Michael Oliver has checked with his two assistants and the official Premier League representative down there. And off we go then. Brentford kicking from right to left under the lights of the new Brentford Community Stadium in West London on a sharpish night in terms of weather. Cold but dry, and it should be cleared away by Watford. Cleverley has dropped over his shoulder, whipped it on, and Cuccio beaten to it by the busy Norgard in that midfield for Brentford, who have possession on the left-hand side. Rico Henry back into his own half, and Janssen finds Charlie Good, the right side centre-back of the three. Brentford's form has fluctuated dramatically since they beat Arsenal here on the opening day of the season by 2 goals to 1 win in 6, 1 defeat in their last 4, but 3 in their last 4 home games. They have had good results, as I was saying. West Ham away, the victory. Drew with Liverpool here. Tough games up and coming. Manchester United at home, what a visit that will be. Southampton away, then they've got Chelsea here in the League Cup quarter-final. But they need to do better than they did in that first half, Karen.
Yeah, I do. So I was just looking at Brentford. They had a good opportunity there, but just slipped both players. So maybe they've watered the pitch too much at half time, and need to look at their footing. I noticed as well that the Watford bench in the first half, the kit man was out with some different boots as well. I didn't know who he gave it to in the end, but you're right. I think for Brentford, they had dominated the possession in the first half, but just wasn't clinical enough in the final third. So that's all I think he would have been saying to him, Frank, going in. But for Watford, just stay in the game, don't do anything different. They've got the lead, they're going to come on to Watford now, and there'll be spaces to exploit them, exactly what they did in the counter-attack as the game progresses.
Good to hear Brentford at half-time paying tribute to Keith Loring, who was a former chief executive here, who's in charge of the club's off-field operations for a decade in the 80s and 90s. He passed away after a short illness. I was lucky enough to work very closely with Keith when I was working for radio in London, and he was a terrific man. Went up to Derby, oversaw the move to the new stadium, went to Derbyshire Cricket Club as well, and when he was here He oversaw Brentford's first Wembley visit in more than 40 years for the Freight Rover Trophy. They went up to the second tier in 1992, the year the Premier League was formed, and they went from the third. They effectively jumped 2 divisions with 1 game. It was at Peterborough, and they got promoted that day. And yes, our thoughts are with Keith and Keith's family, I should say. Also Keith Loring. At that day at London Road, I worked with Bobby Moore. Sorry to name drop Karen, but yes, the Bobby Moore. And we couldn't see off the pitch. So Bobby had to stand up. And if it was the Brentford number 5, he'd put up 5 fingers. And if they were kicking from left to right, he'd out towards the right-hand touchline. He'd point out towards the right-hand touchline, which worked very, very well for 5 minutes. And then, of course, it came to the number 12 who'd come on as a substitute. And Bobby never had 12 fingers, so he got flummoxed.
That was an absolute name drop as well.
Yeah, it was. Clang. Here's Mbuma. And it's Baptiste now brings it away from Brentford over the halfway line. Strong challenge, and he looked there for Visser. Visser was a little bit off the pace, couldn't get there.
I think that's the wrong pass. Sorry, JP. Done everything well, but Baptiste, he's done really well with his feet. Again, wrong pass, wrong direction, and he's, as a centre forward, that's hard because he should have just played it more to the right. He gave the defender the chance there, so I think the final pass was wrong. Thomas
Frank was exasperated. Did you see him down there? He slapped his thighs with his palms, and now he applauds because that's a decent bit of football by the defender.
Because tactically they're making it difficult for Watford, and they're getting the movements, the passing lanes, everything's on. He's frustrated because that's a simple thing that you do in training, that pass. I don't think it's a pass into the final third, just think it's a normal pass and just put it into the area where you want it to go, or to their feet. That was the wrong decision. It's just happening too many times, and no matter what formation you try and do and try and get overloads or whatever it is managers want to do, that final third, that pass has just got to be spot on.
Great to see that kids now, when they're being coached about the passing lanes, the routes around a football pitch, and terrific to see the development in coaching in the game these days. Still work to be done, but it's progressed a long way since the 70s and the 80s. It's a poor clearance away, took him that pass, and that was a poor clearance away by the Brentford goalkeeper Alvaro Hernandez, and the crowd around us, and I said about seeing their faces, well, there were angry faces there because he screwed the ball out of play from his kick clear. So Watford have a throw in down below me, no more than 35 feet in front of me. Kiko Fernandez will take that Kiko Fernandez will take that throw in for Watford in towards Kutschko, and back it goes, and all the way back to their goalkeeper Backman, and that's just lumped. What a waste from goalkeeper to goalkeeper. That is shocking. We're talking Premier League football here. That's awful. Gives possession straight back to Brentford. 1-0 away from home, you keep the ball. Brentford have it with a little run, but a run going nowhere really by the summer signing brought in tonight, Visser, for his first league start. He was easily seen off by Jura Kutschka, very experienced Slovakian international. Brentford have it. Trailing by a goal to nil on 5 live. Good brings it out, and then bends a right-footed ball 40-50 yards to the right-hand touchline. Bomo's across there. Very split the two strikers are now. 40 yards between them, and Baptiste has gone in between the two, as we thought he might as the game progressed. But they can't gain any headway, so they had to go back to their goalkeeper again. With 50 minutes gone, Brentford trailing. Watford very comfortable the way they're set up. They don't get any bother whatsoever. There might be now though, because Baptiste has found a little gap once again between the lines, rolls it away wide to Rico Henry. The cross deflects off Kiko Femenia, comes back to Henry now though from Baptiste, chipped to the edge of the penalty area, appeals for handball by Femenia. It came off his chest though, and the referee was well placed, and Sissoko runs it away, powerfully drives against Jensen, who fouled him, and it's going to be a free kick here. Sissoko, clever, strong in the first place, won it, then turned, checked back in, knew he was going to get a nudge, and accepted the foul. Free kick.
They're playing the more riskier now. Brentford's obviously chasing the game a little bit. As soon as Sissoko won it, if he'd actually played it up to Dennis, he was in a 1v1 with Janssen, because they're that much more committed now. Brentford, they're trying to get bodies forward. There's definitely space for them to exploit on the counter attack. Like I said, 1v1, so it's quite unheard of. I haven't seen it in a while, so can hit the high point as quick as possible. There's an opportunity to hit.
Away by Janssen on the edge of the Brentford penalty area, stroked by Kiko Femenia to Cucho. Femenia looked for the return. Janot came across between Femenia and Clever, who come to this near side, and just stooped into it and headed away. So Watford have a throw in. Sort of a wonderful weekend for you on the BBC of sport. Tomorrow 5 Live Stevie Gerrard's return to Anfield with Aston Villa. The game's on Sunday. The test, if England get another 250, 300 tomorrow, game on. If they can get beyond 500 in that second innings, that is game on. Pitch might break up a little bit on the last day. What a climax to the F1 season as well. A dramatic last race that will be. All on the BBC. And it's going to be a free kick to Watford, a couple of yards in from the near touchline. The referee just putting down the old shaving foam, and it's going to be a throw that a free kick that Cleverley will take. They've got Troost-Ekong in the penalty area. Josh King is the nearest man to hit. Kucho is behind him. Kutska is up there. It's played in low and flat. Not too sure whether that was intentional. And Brentford will run it away. And Bumo to the left-hand touchline, up through the gears. Big, broad-chested man tears over the halfway line. King got back at him. He's gone inside one, gone inside two, and then tried to roll it away to Jensen. Was crowded out. The ball pinged off his chest, and Watford will clear for a throw-in. And Thomas Frank down below us claps his hands together, wants the crowd to give a little bit more. And it's going to be a throw to Watford with 53 minutes gone, Karen, and Brentford still behind.
I must say that was brilliant from King. His recovery run, the free kick was poor from Cleverley, and then he couldn't catch. And Burmo and King was overtook his own player Cleverley to get back and help him out, dig him out of a slight hole. That's good team play from King there to help him out.
Frustration there as a free kick goes against Brentford again. And then Brian Mbumo picking Juraj Kutska off the ground, make sure he's okay. And the veteran, I think I can call him a veteran, he's 34 years of age, born in the Czech Republic, Slovakian international as the country's developed, midfielder. And in the Euros, they're out of the World Cup, aren't they? Here's Kucho on the right-hand side for Watford, trying to burrow in. Was seen off easily by the Brentford defenders. They pump it long into the Watford half, and Bachmann has to come racing out of his goal, and 10-15 yards outside his penalty area. He won the race and cleared it away as Troost-Ekong, his own centre-back, was bearing down on him. Now Brentford have got a problem here, and it's Jensen who's brought into the side tonight, who's gone down holding top of his thigh. And Brian Mbumo has signalled to the manager and the physio down there. It's an impact. It might be a sort of dead leg situation. Got a kick on the leg, he'll be alright.
See Watford looking like they're going to make a change as well. JP.
Kucho Hernandez closes down on Pontus Jansson, who finds his goalkeeper. Hernandez, his 10th game for Brentford, a couple of clean sheets as he covers for the injured first choice goalkeeper. Brentford have it on the right hand side, 5 live, 1-0 to Watford. Miroslav Rasmussen again wanting to perhaps do too much on the ball, but Watford have pressed again today. And now there's a little bit of ugliness. Miroslav Rasmussen and Cleverley square up, exchange words. 2 or 3 other players gets involved, and Gakia and Kutska sensibly pulling him out of it. And the referee will go across, another quiet word, and an effective one, I would imagine. It's calming things down. Didn't even talk to a Brentford player, and on we go. Janssen, all alone at the back for Brentford. Rolls the ball under Sol, then right foot squares it away to Good. Good to Norgard, who was under pressure straight away there. Good pressure from Watford again. Hunting in packs, 3 of them involved. Brentford had to look for their goalkeeper, who balloons it to the halfway line. 10 minutes gone in the second half. 1-0 Watford lead. And Brentford have offered nothing in this second half, Karen, to suggest they can come back into the game. They need to change things. What do they need to do to change things?
I said just get some quality on. Just looking at the bench here, they could bring on to give them just some of that impetus. I don't know whether it's worth bringing Force on, another threat up top. Just maybe it hasn't worked. Visa in the side, sorry. So I don't know. For me, they just lack that quality, and if they've got you just miss Tony, and that's the reality. I'm afraid, JP. You can bring someone on, you can be direct, they've been a threat, but just haven't caused enough issues to Bachmann. And I know I keep saying it, but that's the bottom line.
Well, Tom Cleverley is substituted by Watford. Boos from Brentford fans after that little fracas a moment ago, but cheered off by the Watford supporters. Had a good little spell, has Tom Cleverley. 8 league starts this season already in his 12 games, approaching 200 matches for the club, had a couple of spells there. One was on loan, of course, and João Pedro will come on, the young Brazilian. Watford agreed to sign him. He was a teen, he's only 18 now. He hadn't kicked a ball at first team level for Fluminense. Subsequently joined Watford in the January of 2020. Although 50 games for the club, just a 1 goal this season. And Janelt clears for Brentford. That's a clever ball, bent beyond Femenia. Visser with the first time cross in, looking for Brian Mbumo, and it's hooked up high by Ngakia and eventually splattered away by Sissoko, almost to the halfway line. Brentford pick it up again, trailing 1-0. Norgard, good ball to Visser. They're starting to play now. Here's Rico Henry, a little bit of a slip by Sissoko, so Henry can go wide of him. That's the check back again, and rolls the ball to Norgard, 5 yards in from the near touchline. At halfway inside the Watford half, back it comes to Janssen, strokes the side foot ball to Janelt, who dummied it, anticipating that Ngakia would go on, but he didn't. So Watford have possession back, and Trostikong clears. Halfway line, the goal scorer, Dennis, his goal in that first half. Free header, bad marking, separates the sides. Good season he's having. £7 million. As Dan Fletcher was saying at half time, he struggled last season with Bruges. He went out on loan to Köln and he got 1 goal there. He's having a good start with Watford. We're under pressure now. Crossed by Henry into the box, just deflected away though. And is cleared away. Strong challenge. And the substitutes, João Pedro. And a good challenge, but the ball, the opportunity to get it into the Watford box by Janssen is wasted. Then he didn't have the pace to scuttle across and stop Watford getting away. Josh King deflected it off the Dane, and it's a throw to the visitors who lead 1-0.
They just slow it down, JP, in that final third. But you just got to move it so much more quicker. When they did it just then a minute ago, 1 and 2 touch, trying to get round, and then Henry gets in. That's how you're going to break this Watford back 4 down, because they are pressing. And they've got 5 in attack, because now they're actually playing Henry and Rasmussen even more high than they were in the first half, so they're actually playing as wingers. So just move it quicker, you've got the bodies up there. Play 1 and 2 touch rounds, Watford.
Brentford again pressed back by João Pedro and by Dennis, but they got it away, playing out from the back. And now here's Janelt, strokes it over the halfway line to Visser, back to Janelt. Diagonal ball straight away into Jensen, who switches it away wide to Ruslav Rasmussen. Space for him on the right hand side. They measure the cross in. Oh, Visser was arriving, made no sort of contact. Rico Henry's driven, ball into the box is blocked and cleared away, back in there by Cucho Hernandez. It's a corner kick, could have been so much more. Totally miscued in the middle. What a great cross that was.
Oh, it's brilliant play from Brentford, much better. Switching it out to Rasmussen, who puts a lovely ball in, and Burma just misses it, and then it falls to Rico at the back post. Henry, he just gets a touchdown, and it just got out their block, but that's how high now the wing backs are. They're playing as wingers, and that's what they need. They need to push Watford back and back.
Good header in the middle, actually, away by Trostikong it was for Watford, who cleared again from the corner kick. Free header away it was by Josh King, and the last man back for Brentford gets it away for a throw in. Mats Ruslav Rasmussen. 3 starts for him now in the league. Started against Leeds in the 2-2 draw.
I think all that, sorry JP, all that came from Brentford though. Jensen moving the ball quicker in the midfield, switching it from right to left. And that's what they keep needing to do. Just the tempo's dropped. When they raise the intensity, Watford can't get near them.
Cucho Hernandez. Femenia, who's played well for Watford. They've given it away, and can Brentford get at them straight away now? Rico Henry looking for Johan Visser, who looks short of first team sharpness today at the substitutes roles, but gets the start. And that's a lovely ball boomed out by Charlie Good to Brian Mbumo on the left hand side of the Watford penalty area, but Ngakia got the better of him, and then the clearance by Cathcart was hurried, which means that Watford had to defend a Brentford throw in. Brentford trailing 1-0 with 28 minutes to go. And we know what this means. This means a long throw in from Charlie Good, Watford born Brentford defender. Takes it short and then gets a cross in, looking for Norgard. It's kept in play, but surely it has to be offside. It is. Janssen, he kept it in play, had to be offside. Free kick. sure why he tried to play that. He's offside as the header by Norgard. Moved forward when he made himself active by trying to head it back into the mix. Strange one. Thomas Frank is having words down there with his coaching staff. And he's had a foul here by Charlie Good. He's certainly not happy with the reaction of Dennis, who stayed down, initially holding his shoulder, then he's okay. Booed by the Brentford supporters. The home side have possession right in front of Claudio Ranieri, the Watford manager, down below us. Switches play. They're now making the pitch big and beginning to work Watford off the ball a lot harder than they did in the first half.
Exactly what they should have been doing, is switching it from left to right, just pulling them apart a little bit, making them run, and then the spaces in between will open up. That's what you have to earn though, but then they're just frustrating. Really good from back to middle, but the final third shocking from Brentford tonight, absolute shocking.
Header forward by Jensen, looking for a move, claimed by Cathcart. It's a strong evening for Watford. Thomas Frank has just been chatting to his trusted number 2, Brian Riemer, former Copenhagen boss, who's now recalling one or two of the substitutes. So Brentford will make a change just past the hour. They've given the ball away. How many misplaced passes by both sides tonight in the scrappy Premier League Friday night affair on 5 Live. Janox for Brentford, tall, upright, German under-21 international, has a look, plays forward down the left-hand side. He's looked, he's steadied himself, and he's rolled a terrible ball down the line to Rico Henry. They got away with a throw-in, but it really wasn't a precise ball.
I think they're making a sub now. It's
going to make 2, I think. Force is a striker. Will come on, the cross into the middle, looks for a striker, there's none there, and Cathcart the easy job to get it away. And I would think that Johan Wissa's time is short. I'll trust, I think, Brian and Brumo to be on the field of play to maybe take a chance if it comes his way. Norgard is good down the line. Ruslav Rasmussen. Good work on him by Josh King. Rasmussen turns back up the line, the fair-haired Copenhagen-born Danish under-21. Back it comes then to Janssen. His Swedish days seem to be behind him now, Swedish international days. Gets it back again then, the tall, burly, bearded former Leeds United folk hero. And away it goes to Good. Tries to force it to Ruslav Rasmussen. What would have numbers over there? Could block. But Brentford persistent. Get it back to the heart of midfield, the pivot. Jensen looks to his left-hand side. This is good build-up. It's into the box. Whistle with the shot. Blocked by Trostikong, who's had a strong night. Got lucky with the clearance, I have to say. Rico Henry couldn't pick it up, but Brentford will pick up the clearance away by Hernandez. Into the box it goes. And the best of balls by Jensen. So Good, a little bit calmer on the ball. Angles to the right-hand touchline. They're in possession here, Brentford, with Mbumo. Far side of the pitch from us, between the penalty box and the far touchline in West London. On a crisp but dry December evening. 1-0 to Watford. Jensen for Brentford. 10 yards inside the Watford half. Looks left. Gets it back again from Jano. Watford working hard behind the ball, keeping their shape in the middle. Jano looks for the run in behind. Ooh, and I'll tell you what, Watford got a little bit lucky there, because as Kutska came back to close on Jensen, there was a bit of a tangle of legs. Had the Brentford player gone down, the referee would have had a decision to make.
I mean, it's a great run. He's run off the back of him, Jensen, and he's got the wrong side, Kucho. And he's too honest, maybe. You'd see a lot of players, even myself, maybe his contact, I would have gone down. I think a penalty would have been given. It was completely the wrong side. It was a great run off the back shoulder. Those third man runs need more of that. Brentford now, that impetus in that final third. Get numbers up there. They've got momentum at the moment.
It's going to be Godos and Force who come on for Brentford. Both of them are strikers. Jensen, maybe he that goes off. We'll wait and see. I think it would be him that goes off, and Visser. In comes across by Ruslav Rasmussen, misjudged by Kiko Femenia, so the ball is still hovering on the outside of the penalty area, where it's worked wide to Henry. No Grubber across in the middle, and Trostikong He's had his detractors this season, but has been rock solid tonight for Watford. Gets it away. And up towards João Pedro. A strong challenge there by Llano. It's gone hurtling in to Cucho Hernandez, and he could be in trouble here if the referee deems that was out of control and excessive force. Not a huge protest from the Watford players, and they're not putting the referee under any undue pressure, and it's a yellow card. Now the Brentford supporters around us are thinking the Watford man made a meal of it. Let's see it again, Karen.
Well, look, he was completely committed in it when he actually won the ball. I can see why the referee has given a yellow. He has won it slightly. I don't think there's much contact, but I think it's just the force in which he's gone in, and because the pitch is so wet and slippy, it looks probably a lot worse, but you can't go in like that in today's game, so a yellow is probably the right, nothing more than a yellow.
Northampton Saints against Racing. Let's have an update from Chris Jones.
We've got 17 minutes left here, Jonathan. Northampton 14, Racing 38. Racing have been superb. They've scored 4 tries. Finn Russell added again with another magnificent assist for Wenceslas Loré. Northampton have scored their second try through Fraser Dingwall, but it's too far back for the Saints, and Racing are making an early marker on this, the first night of the Champions Cup this season. Northampton 14, Racing 38. We've got 17 minutes to go.
And that game is live on Sports Extra for you. Don't forget, terrific weekend of sport right here on 5 Live and Sports Extra, and on BBC Television, and all over the place on the internet as well, on BBC Sound. You won't miss a trick. Website coverage, fantastic, of all sport, and it's going to be a throw to Watford on that far side. The change has been made. Force and Godos are on, both of them strikers, and it was Jensen and Visser who went off.
Goddard has probably gone more into the centre midfield role, attacking mid. JP and Force has gone up top next to Mbermo.
Familiar for Watford. Right hand touchline, looks for Dennis. Roves, wanders, looks for the ball. Feisty as well, Dennis. He's picked up several cautions this season. He likes the challenge. He's tried to stop Llano breaking away now for Brentford. Llano's ball into the middle, looking for Godos, and off it goes again then to Llano. Tried to spin it up to Mbumo. Bit adventurous with that sort of pass. Lionel Messi could have pulled it off, but not Italy. Llano. And Watford have possession now, just trundling into the Brentford half. It slipped through to Sissoko. He's pulled back when he had a run into the penalty area. That's a yellow card, and only a yellow card for Pontus Jansson. Now it'll be interesting to see if there was cover. There were Brentford defenders tracking back, but would they have got to Sissoko? Did he get the pace? Did he have the pace to get away? The ball was straight to the middle. I'm not too sure they would have got there, you know. It's just a yellow.
Well, I'm just seeing his goal scoring opportunity as well. I think you're right. I think the rate of pass, it would have gone into Fernandez, the goalkeeper, and he's pulled him back. So I don't think he would have got onto it, but Janssen might have just pulled him back. So I think the referee has got the right decision there. It was a foul, did pull him back, but he wouldn't have reached the pass because there was too much weight on it.
And they brought on the Iranian international striker Godos, and they brought on Force, another international striker, to get the goals, to get them back into the game and get them on top. But before they've had a significant touch, it could be 2-0 down here, because it is a free kick to Watford. It's about 2 yards outside the Brentford penalty area, and it's going to be Cucho Hernandez who will take it, I think. He's walked 2 yards away to the left of it, though Dennis wants something of this. He's there with him. He's the nearest man to the ball, but it is Hernandez who takes a free kick, and it curls, but it's slipped away high over the bar. Poor free kick.
Yeah, for his quality and standards, you got to be hitting the target there. So we're disappointed. That was a good opportunity, but now we'll see what Brentford have got. As you said, the changes. This is probably the first time now they're lumping it forward. Can they get Force involved in the game and get him closer to go and get that partnership working better, which hasn't really worked in the first half?
A mischievous little breeze with a cut on it swirls around the Brentford Community Stadium, very close to the Great West Road, out to the M4 and down to the West Country. And Watford have possession on that left-hand side. Oh, Griffin Park, remember there used to be a big advert on the roof of the stand, and if you ever flew into Heathrow, you'd see the advert, and very clearly, I think they were the first club ever to do that, you know, put an advert on the roof of a stand, aware of the marketing possibilities with the airport down the road. Janelt strong from the back, bringing it out. Normally a central midfield player. He cuts a lovely ball in as well in the diagonal to Godos. Godos away to Rasmussen. Has work to do though. The ball had too much pace. King has trapped back with him. Oh, Josh King. Player of your experience, that's silly. He's going nowhere, Rasmussen. The ball had too much pace and he's buffeted into him and given away a free kick. Brentford might equalise from this, with 18 minutes to go.
Well, he's just put his hand up and said, yeah, I know, I messed up. I've completely messed up here. But they were lucky though, because the pass out from Godos to Rasmussen was not good enough again, and then it was just completely naive of King. He's going nowhere, just pushes him, and you're right, this is a dangerous free kick now that Brentford have got and a good opportunity, but they need to make it count. The other deliveries have not been good enough.
Also Force is at the far side of the penalty, Marcus Force I should say. Big Manchester United fan, they're next up here. He'd love to score here and book a place in the starting lineup for United. He's the far side of the penalty. It's hoisted in towards him, dropped short. Sissoko, under no sort of pressure, heads it away. And by and large, Watford have been very comfortable at the back. But Brentford now on the tackle, a man over on the far side. Janelt it is, pulls it back. Norgard with a chip into the penalty area. Trostikong, well positioned, 6-yard area, gets it away. Brentford should have done a lot better given the opportunity to get the ball in. They'll get another one now. Norgard away towards the right hand side. Janelt into the penalty area, shoots. Saved by the goalkeeper. No one there to wrap in the rebound. Decent goalkeeping, it has to be said, by Backman, but his save dropped back into a dangerous area. Pressure on momentarily until Familia hoists it away, and Watford stay 1-0 up with what's some 15 minutes to go, just over. And Backman now comes out of his penalty area. What was he doing there? He had defenders back, didn't need to rush into the clearance, got away with it. And Watford now have a man over, Dennis. He's got Hernandez to the right hand side, doesn't use him. King is free on the left, this could clinch it. Josh King, and it's saved low down by Alvaro Fernandez, and Watford could have wrapped up the game there and then.
Wow, it's just quite exciting, hasn't it, JP? But you're right, Brentford have it one end, and then Watford go and counter-attack, and really it falls to Josh King, and you think, right, you're in a 1v1 situation, but I think it's just too far across. He tries to get it onto his right foot, and then he just closes the angle down because of that, and then it's a comfortable save for Fernandez. But it's really started to heat up now. It's end-to-end stuff as Brentford are going to try and get the equaliser. There's so much space then for Watford on the counter-attack.
Gakia for Watford. Watford looks on as Brentford build up. They're back inside the centre circle now, and it's angled by Good towards the right hand side. Miroslav Rasmussen wraps in a low cross, it hits Josh King, and it's going to be a throw. He's defended much better as the game's gone on that dangerous Brentford right has Josh King. Going to be a substitution for both sides about to be made. Frank Onyeka is going to come on, midfield player for Brentford, and Ken Sema fit again. The Swedish international is going to come on for Watford. Wide player, can play in a more central position. In comes a long throw into that Watford half. It's a Watford penalty. It wasn't dealt with particularly well. Cathbart's clearance dropped short, and then they've lofted it away downfield. Brentford will have a throw in deep inside their own half. Exchange will be made now. And Sema will come on for Watford first of all. And he'll place Cucho Hernandez, who takes his gloves off and watches us near side. There are a few boos because he's taking his time, and Brentford take off Rico Henry and bring on Onyeka. It's been a long wait for Watford to get Ken Sema back into action. Only his 9th game of the season. He's had a couple of league starts. He hasn't played since the end of October. And he's been up and down with Watford over the last few years since joining them in 2018. Relegated back up is Godos. And Brentford switch it away to Good. Right hand touch of Miroslav Rasmussen, beginning to find space. It's a terrible ball in field to the supporting midfield player Onyeka. And so Watford have it back, look for Dennis, and Dennis has held it up enough. Oh, the decision's gone against. I thought he played that off the Brentford defender. It should have been a throw to Watford, but the referee saw it otherwise. Brentford have sent Boris away to this left wing back position since Henry went off. And Onyeka on his feet, this man to have more of a run. Shannon Baptiste. There's Mbeumo going one side, but he carried too long, didn't get a shout. Kuchka got back at him, helped by Sissoko. Brian Mbeumo forages for Brentford. They have it back on 5 line, 13 minutes to go. Watford leading by a goal to 0. Out towards Goros, don't need to keep it in play, but then he will shepherd it out. Right at the start of the evening we were saying, Watford just had that, I know they both came back up, but Watford had that little bit more Premier League nous about their squad for a game like this.
Yeah, I think they do, and just even on that there, Kucha, he's in the right place at the right time in the centre midfield. Just uses his experience, he uses his physicality just to nullify any threat going forward. And like now, the game management's better. You know, he's not going to mess about with it. Backman, everyone's up. We're going to go long. We're going to go direct. Play a bit of territory football. Keep it out of our defensive third.
So for Brentford next up, Manchester United here, Southampton away, Chelsea in the League Cup quarter-final. That's some feat as well to get to the last 8 of that competition. Then they go to Brighton and Manchester City here before they play Port Vale in the FA Cup. And it's Brentford on the attack now. Brian Mbeumo between the touchline and the right-hand side of the penalty as low cross is headed away by Femenia, back in the box, and Sissoko takes a touch. Little gentle header back to his goalkeeper, and Watford still lead with just over 11 and a half minutes to go.
I mean, you have to applaud Watford in how they defended, really. They've been solid, they've made it difficult. I know it's been more so, I think, about the lack of quality in the final third and the final pass from Brentford, but they've still had to defend wide area crosses, they've still had to defend set plays. So far, 78 minutes in, they've kept condensed shape.
Yeah, this is a team that hasn't kept a Premier League clean sheet to date this season. The only team in the top flight not to do so. They've conceded more goals since Claudio Ranieri's first game in charge than anyone else, 19 in that time. And they look at the moment very much a team that's going to win away from home here tonight, unless Brentford continue the improvement we've seen from them. I would suggest, Karen, in the last 15-20 minutes they've got better. They started to make the pitch big, started to push it around a little bit more.
Well, they do notoriously do that. I remember being here at the Chelsea game when they just absolutely peppered Chelsea the last 15-20 minutes, and look, Thomas Frank's telling everyone to push forward. He's really saying we need to keep them in that final third, get numbers forward, so they will get more and more and grow into this. The last 10 minutes or so, they're going to cause a big threat.
What a game Mendy had that night in the Chelsea goal. Is Ruslav Rasmussen tries to get to the dead ball line. He might get a second chance to get the cross in. Sissoko gets it away for Watford. Far side of the pitch, and we saw this down the right-hand side for Brentford. Oh, Charlie good, took off then as he went for a challenge. He's going to get a yellow card here. But he's won the ball and he's pushed it down the line, but the challenge was uncontrolled in that both feet were off the ground, didn't make contact with the player that has possibly saved him.
Well, the player luckily wasn't anywhere near it, but like you said, he's out of control, he's jumped up, his feet are off the floor. He's still got a yellow card even though he's won the ball and there's no one really near him. But you've got 10 minutes to go, you're 1-0 behind, don't do anything stupid. If it had caught him, you're right, it was Josh King, that would have been red.
Josh King's shirt was also being tugged by Ruslav Rasmussen. Now, back in the day, he wouldn't even flinch at a tackle like that. We can't tackle in 2021-22 like that. And I was a recipient of a video this week sent by a former Premier League manager to me of let's just say zealous challenges in the past. Honestly, X-rated. Chelsea Leeds 1970 Cup final, Leeds Barcelona in the Champions Cup as it was. Get some footage of that one. That was carnage. That was brutal. And the cup final, 1970, it was reviewed again by a referee. I think 20 players could have gone off that day. Force for Brentford trying to get through the middle. Kiko Femenia just got across, played it back. It's picked up by the goalkeeper, and the Brentford fans are saying that's a back pass. Don't think it was, in that he went across, intercepted, and made contact, and the ball went back to his goalkeeper. You can see why they're appealing though, Karen.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, that's the first time I think Forson and Burma have got closer together, like a partnership. They need to keep doing that. Play closer together, get those little link-up plays. In the first half, they were Forson and on, but the relationship was too far apart. They're going to get any success, they need to play closer together in this last remaining few minutes.
Free kick here for Brentford, and the ball is lumped away by Kutska. Free kick against João Pedro. It's 2 or 3 yards inside the Watford half, left of centre. So there's an angle for the ball to be played in by Christian Norgard. Clever deliverer of a ball from a Hamburg and Brombu player, Fiorentina player. Wasn't greatly successful there. Here's Mbuma. And Mbuma thought about a chip into the box, so he's freed his man. In comes across Roy Goros, doesn't beat Trostikong. He's been super for Watford tonight. Second cross into the middle. Will come to Onyeka, and his drive is headed away by the Watford left fullback Ngakia. Brentford pouring it on, 1-0 down, 7 minutes to go.
So I mean the position there with Trostikong and then Ngakia as well has been superb. They defended the crosses really, really well, but the pressure is now building on this Watford back line. Really, really building. That's what Brentford need to keep crossing it, because there will be one mistake, someone will be out of position.
Brentford, I think it's their 7th corner of the game. Chip towards the near post. Norgard was in there, but Josh King rose higher. Yellow shirt amongst the red and white striped shirts. They don't clear it too far away though. Godos slips it to the right hand side. Can they get the cross in there? Left footed, it comes into the penalty area. Cross with the header on, and the equalising goal. Good was in there at the far post. Janssen was in there at the far post, and Brentford are back in it, and Charlie Good claims the goal. 1-1.
But there's an altercation on the goal line, JP, just making sure that nothing's gone on here, because I think as one of the Brentford players tried to get the ball back in there, they've absolutely took out. But look, going back to the goal, look, I said about it, crosses, momentum was coming, they put the ball into the penalty area, they don't make the first contact, the second contact, Charlie Goods on the post, round the back post, he gets it in. They don't win the first contacts. Second balls, they don't pick on Watford on the edge of the box. And then the cross comes in, it's in a brilliant area. Just round the back post on the post, he's unmarked. It's actually Janssen who gets a headed connection in round the back post, a switch off. They're back in the game, Brentford.
It's Janssen who got good, claimed it, but it's Janssen who scored it. The cross comes in, force, really good touch on, and Janssen creeping between the defenders. Onside, been checked by VAR, played on by Kiko Femeni. Oh, was his foot? Look at his front foot, Karen. Look at his front foot.
It's literally a toenail. It is literally a toenail. If it's going to be given offside, like, wow.
Well, the lines are being drawn, and we're seeing VAR onside. Says one graphic in front of us. VAR has checked it, and I think the goal is going to be given, and it is Pontus Janssen who gets it. That's his first of the season, first in a long while actually. I don't think he scored since 2019, nearly 100 games ago. Janssen who gets the goal. Massive, big character here, the Brentford captain. They are still checking according to the big screen above us. No, it's given. That's the big roar around the stadium. But meanwhile, Daniel Bachmann is still down sitting on his backside, being treated inside that Watford 6-yard area. So we won't start the game again until the keeper is on his feet.
Look, I spoke to you, didn't I, JP, about putting the ball in an area someone will switch off. Trostikong was actually, he did switch off around the back post, and that's where Janssen just came in between and no one dealt with it. It's a great crossing from Janssen as well, but when the flick on, Forsters, who's come on as a sub, and he just peels in and they don't pick him up around the back post, and that's what happens. Sometimes when teams are in such good shape, you have to cause chaos. You have to cause frantic movement from players, and that's what crosses does sometimes. And players just switch off, and this is the last 10 minutes of the game, you're tired, you've been game accumulation, which we spoke about before. Just keep getting the crossing.
Goalkeeper Bachmann was hurt, so it's one of the Brentford players inadvertently crashed into him, and the ball had already gone in the back of the net by then. And it's 1-1, and I think for their endeavour in the second half, it's a deserved equaliser, is it? Am I wrong on that? Or do I think Brentford deserve to be back in this game, Karen?
Look, they've had, first half, they definitely had more possession. They didn't really do anything with it. and now they've just been a bit more front-footed again. They're pushing players further forward, and now they've got another opportunity with the long throw. They always come good the last few minutes, Brentford. The only criticism is, why don't you do it all the time? But they've just been lacking that cutting edge. And when you need it, you just send up the big man Janssen, and he's delivered for you.
He's in there again. Force is in there. He had a role to play in the goal as well. Watford are trying to protect Backman, who is unhappy here with the physicality about him. Has just been hurt. It's up to the Watford defenders to protect the goalkeeper. He's having words with Janssen. Brentford will do everything they can, of course, to pressurise the Austrian international goalkeeper, who's an experienced man. He's not a kid. Hasn't kept a clean sheet. His last 8 games for the club, 7 of them this season. 8 now. And pressurise him again. In comes that long throw from Charlie Good. They try and head it on in the penalty area, and that shot, I think, is deflected. Janet's shot is deflected away. It's another corner kick, and Thomas Frank down here on the near touchline again turns to the crowd, claps his hand. Once more noise from the supporters at the Brentford Community Stadium. And they are pouring the pressure on here as they look for back-to-back home wins. Victory will take them to 20 points this season. By this stage, from the Rota team, that's terrific. In comes the cross, missed at the near post. It's loose. It's cleared away inside that 6-yard area. Cleared, dug out by João Pedro. Another Brentford set-piece causing trouble at one end. At the other end, it was a set-piece that undid them in the first half.
And look, this place is absolutely rocking now, and the momentum's really shifting with them. And Watford just struggling to deal with the direct play, the crosses into it. And as you said, João Pedro on the line just cleared it off there.
Good throw towards the dead ball line. Force tried to help it back into the middle. But an international played in the Euros. Going to be another long throw in that Charlie Good will take. So he takes the blue towel out from behind the advertising hoardings, wipes it over the ball. I was listening to Martin Chivers the other day on the radio, and he was saying back in the day, his Tottenham long throws, he never had a towel. In it comes, hurled in by Good towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Janssen Klein, that's a decent header away by Dennis. He gets up so well. And King will chase up after this, and Reznor Rasmussen has to be aware, hoists it over his own shoulder, and Good now thunders it forward for Brentford, just up into the mix. Cathcart leaves it for Trostikong, who comes to claim, in the end, and got it away. Now, Watford look to get Sema on the ball down the right-hand side, the substitute. He's nicked it beyond Norgard, who did enough. And it's back to the Brentford goalkeeper, Alvaro Fernandez. 1-1 on 5 Live, and we're into the last 5 seconds. There will, of course, be several minutes of stoppage time. Watford want to send on Özcan Tufan, the Turkish international. 5 minutes of stoppage time to play. Great roar goes up from the Brentford hordes. Watford fans less appreciative, because they know they're hanging on. Or can they come away and win it? Will that be a yellow card? It will be. There's a tug back there by the Watford substitute, Frank Onyeka, and it's going to be a free kick and a caution for the Brentford substitute to fall back on Kutska.
I must say, bringing on Force has been a total change as well for Brentford, just because, like we keep saying, we know how direct they are, and it just didn't work with Issa up top in the first half, whereas Force has got a bit more presence about him, and he suits a direct play. He's been here a lot longer, he knows the system, he's playing closer to him, and he's causing a lot of problems. I think that's been a real positive substitution for Brentford and made a significant change.
Substitution for Watford, Özcan Tufan, the Turkish international, very experienced Turkish international, 65 games for his country, on loan at the moment from Fenerbahce. Comes on for his 7th appearance, midfield player, central midfield player. He's replaced Dennis. In the midfield for the Euro, Kutska replaces his boot. It just came off momentarily. Chases back, tries to close down on Goros as he knocks it down the line to Onyeka. Into the Watford half it goes. Straight down the left-hand touchline, there's a foul. Kiko Femenia bundles into Mbumo, who was cunning in that he turned, parked his body between the Watford defenders. He tried to recover his racing line, his running line. Knew any touch by Femenia would bundle him to the ground and give a free kick. He flopped forward. It was an exaggerated flop forward, but it was a free kick. It was cleverly won by him, cynically won by him, it might be said, but it's a free kick and Brentford might win the game through it. we're into stoppage time. Janelt, who's had a good game for Brentford, trots away from it. In comes the free kick. They got us to the far post all the way through. Goal kick. That's a wasted opportunity this late on.
Yeah, it's disappointing, like you said. How important set players have been. You just need the delivery, just give the players a chance. And Godos, who's come on, he's absolutely whipped it back post and no one's there and everyone's missed out on an opportunity. Momentum now has shifted away.
Who will press for a winner? Claudio Ranieri might have taken a point before the game kicked off, before thinking, well, hang on, this is an opportunity to move those 6 points clear of the bottom three with a victory. Brentford, of course, well, they're pushing for the winner now. Watford are holding on. Here's Norgard in midfield for the Bees. To Mbumo, slips it down the line. Lovely chip forward to Godos, who tried to touch it back to an overplay. And a terrible clearance away though. Straight back to Norgard. Poor ball from him, slipped in to Onyeka. Terrible clearance. Muddle patch of the play. Brentford have it back on the left-hand side now. Janelt, who's had a good game. Again, a disguised ball. Norgard. Godos has slipped the challenge. And what's the referee going to give here? He's given a penalty. Trosikong, excellent all night for Watford. Stretched into the challenge on the Brentford substitute. Stretched too far. Mistimed it. Down went Godos. The referee thought that out went the right arm and pointed to the spot. Penalty kick for Brentford.
What was he thinking? Trosikong. It's like you said, he's been superb. But look, Norgard plays a through ball through. Godos dummies it to take the cross. And Trosikong commits himself, thinking I'm going to block the cross. Goes down with his right foot. Godos dummies it, hits it with his left foot. And there's clear contact. It's 100% a penalty. And now, from Watford being 1-0 up, find himself against a penalty and could potentially lose the game now. You're just thinking from Brentford's perspective, Tony's usually the man that steps up. He's usually so clinical, so now it's over to Ryan. Can he do it?
Ryan Mbumo, Tony's strike partner against Daniel Bachmann, who stretches his muscles right in front of Mbumo, trying to psych him out of it, and the referee quite rightly says, hang on a minute, get back on your line. And he marches him back and has a word about stepping off the line, moving too early. And Mbumo walks back 4 or 5 paces, so a run from a slight right to left angle. Brian Mbumo to win this game for Brentford, who were behind for so very, very long in the game. He's had to wait a long time here, Mbumo, before he can take this penalty kick. Waits a little bit longer, the referee blows. Mbumo to win this game for Brentford. Left-footed, wrong foot to the goalkeeper, he pulls the back of the net, sets off in a charge towards the far side. It becomes a cavalry charge of red and white striped shirts and black shorts, and they disappear in a huddle on top of Brian Mbumo, who has won this game for Brentford at the Brentford Community Stadium. Deep into the game in stoppage time, and Watford, who led so early on, end up a defeated side. Brentford 2, Watford 1.
This is absolute scenes here. Spoke about the atmosphere, it's just electric now. He just stepped on Burma, just cool, calm, a little dummy, slow run up, stops, and he just sends Batman the wrong way, just pure composure, slots it in his left foot into the bottom right hand corner, and then the rest is done. And now you're thinking, surely that's 3 points to Brentford, but brilliant finish from the striker.
Claudio Ranieri purses his lips down below us. They got off to the perfect start, even though up to that moment, it has to be said, Brentford had opened the game in a brighter fashion, but then Watford looked in no danger whatsoever. The substitution force coming on has made all sorts of difference. Watford, can they get back into it now? Surely not. It's away by Janelt. How good has he been today? Back there in the centre-back 3 for Brentford from his normal position. Particularly Janelt, Karen, he's been super.
He has, but I just think it's your point about force. Should have been more direct, the push forward, and I think the wing-backs got us coming on again. It's just about that quality. All the subs that Thomas Frank has brought on have all been positive. They've all made a change because they lacked that quality, and they could, first half, that 11 could have been playing for another 2 days and nothing would have happened, so they needed something different, a different impetus, and these subs have been brilliant, all that he's brought on.
They were behind in the 25th minute. It took until the 83rd to draw level. and so very deep. 96 were on the clock when the penalty ended up in the back of the net. The full-time whistle blows. The Brentford players hug each other. The goalkeeper Alvaro Fernandez races 50 yards to embrace Norgard. Celebrations here for Brentford. They make it to the 20-point mark. Some people say 30, 31, 32 will keep you up. 4 wins in another season. That's remarkable progress for Brentford Football Club. And for Watford, it encapsulates their season. 1 minute they're up, the next minute they're down, and they're defeated to like 2-1.
Absolutely. I think Watford, they were in control of the game, but they backed up and weren't positive in their subs or in any way that they were trying to play, and just tried to hold on to it. And that's a massive error coming here. You don't ever do that. You know they're going to grow stronger, so you have to push them the other way, Brentford. But like I said, Thomas Frank's substitutions were spot on. The direct play, the set pieces, 2 set pieces have effectively won them the game. But it's all about bringing force on in the subs, and that's made a change, and they were just positive, and then the fans got behind them, and it's so difficult coming here.
Well, Claudio Ranieri, who's seen it all, done it all, bought the t-shirt, looks out as if he can't quite believe that the points have slipped away from his team, but they have. They led through Dennis on 25 minutes, then came the equaliser from Big Janssen 7 minutes from time, and the stoppage time penalty winner by Dennis. Frantic end to the game here, Fletch, and it's Brentford who've won it 2-1.